This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Reality Is. As always, it's Noor, and this is a special crossover episode that I did with a fun new podcast that I found of two lovely Pakistani American women, Huma and Shabnam, who are the hosts of Chai After Dark. We are discussing The Valley, and we're talking about the last episode as well as the first two parts of the reunion. And I had a lot of fun talking to them. Guys, go check them out everywhere podcasts are heard. Go subscribe to them, rate them 5 stars, review them, all of that stuff on Spotify and everywhere else, and then also follow them on Instagram. So I had a really good time talking to them, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thanks. Bye.
Welcome to Chai After Dark, everyone. I'm Shabnam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Homa. But today we have a very special guest. We're doing a crossover episode with The Reality Is podcast. And Noor, thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be quite a ride.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. First of all, thank you for the idea. This is such a good idea. I did not bring any chai because it's technically not after dark, but and also it's too hot to have it. But I'm just really excited to talk to you ladies, especially about this one television show, which I think is especially triggering to brown women watching it, because you're like, white women are also in terrible marriages where they let the patriarchy run their shit. That's so funny.
Yeah. Although Nia is Mexican.
Yeah, but like part of the pageant world, which very much is like you're standardizing the, Western standard of beauty. And it's like you've been chasing that whole thing. And you're like, Nia, what are you doing? Nia is living the model minority card through pageantry, which is.
And we have those too. We have some of those women as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we sure do. So Homa, I know you are along for this ride because you're not really a reality show watcher normally. So you're going to give us a little bit of your psychiatry take and outside eyes take.
Yeah. I don't know how much it's going to be psychiatric in nature and how much it's going to be like just like a middle-aged woman who's tired and is scratching her head and going, why are these people doing this? I don't understand. So I'll try to provide the psychiatric insight, but honestly, I think it's coming more from I'm too tired for this. Oh my God, I'll be exhausted.
I feel like from a psychiatric lens, it just has to be like, well, so everybody is mentally ill and nobody is doing anything about their mental illness. So that's like the broad brush across the board. You're like, oh, everyone is not okay.
Yeah. I've got referrals for all of you. Like Oprah. I can throw over, you know what? I know someone in your area you can go see. Even though I will say to their credit, a lot of them talked very openly and positively about therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm probably already getting their names wrong. Kristen? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kristen, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to let you guys lead. But she was like, she's like, I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, they're all in therapy. I don't know how effective it is, but it's nice.
Mm-hmm. She's been talking about it that way for how many years?
Ever.
14?
Yeah. For as long as we've known her. But I think that Kristen is a great example. And now all of them are great examples of like not breaking through in therapy, right? Like you see the people that are like, oh, I go to therapy, but like, that their therapist hates them. The therapist is like, oh God, we're talking about this again. Like everybody, and we all know somebody like that, right? Like we know people that are like that are like, oh yeah, I went to therapy for a little while, but like I just didn't like that my therapist didn't tell me exactly what to do. And you're like, well, that's not the point of therapy. The point of therapy is not so somebody can sit and tell you about yourself. Therapy is so that you can figure out yourself in a safe environment, right? Like that's the point. And you can very much tell the people who are not getting to the breakthroughs. Like I always say, like therapy is you go in and you figure out your triggers, and then you figure out why you have those triggers. And then the next step is, how do I exist in the world knowing that I might get triggered, because the world doesn't owe me anything to not trigger me, right? Like that's
Right.
I think for a lot of these people, they get to like the first part and then part of the second part, and then they're like, I'm done. And I think that that's very much the case here.
That's
Yeah.
That's what you would call probably somebody who's not as therapeutically inclined, because you need to make the person feel safe, right? So that when you do give them pushback, that they take it. And that second half of therapy can take a very long time to get to, because
You mean like behavioral change, or just them being
or
okay?
just like being like, hey, so what do you think you're doing to that? I mean, what is it in your behavior or that you might be contributing to this problem? And the fact, when the minute you break from that, like where you're no longer validating 100% their experience, and you're kind of like, hey, how do you think you're contributing to this? Like, what was your role in this? Some people will just be like, I'm done. Right. And so, yeah. And honestly, a lot of people do use this, like, I'm in therapy, so I can't be wrong because I'm in therapy. Right. Like that was also a little bit, I was like, am I getting shades of that here? Like,
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You read that right. Yeah.
Okay. Yay, win.
So should we get into the reunion looks?
Let's do it.
They were all bad. They were all bad.
I mean,
Okay.
Lacey's yellow in the pictures. Lacey's yellow retching was nice. No,
It washed her out. I feel like the color, because
the coloring was not. Yeah, like, but the dress itself was designed nicely. Okay, all right. I will shut up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would say it's like in a pile of crazy chaos. Lacey's is like probably the best, because like Butter Yellow is having a moment. Like I'm going to a Mayu soon, and I did get a Butter Yellow shalwar kameez because I was like, it's a little different and it's in fashion right now. But I do feel like in a year from now, I'm gonna be like, why did I buy this Butter Yellow Farsi shalwar kameez? I'm never gonna wear it. It is. Yeah. But yeah, I do think that because it's having a moment, I think Lacey did really well. I won't get into it, but I think unfortunately Lacey, she ate in all the ways. Yeah.
And I don't love that for Michelle, but she did. But I still don't like the dress color on her, because like with her skin color and the platinum blonde and then the butter yellow, it was just like too much.
Yeah,
I
agree.
was too much.
Agreed.
Yeah. But the dress itself, I thought, out of all of the dresses, I'm looking for something good here. I'm trying to be positive, guys. Okay. Like
it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, do they do that on purpose? Like,
look bad?
Experts? Well, like, I mean,
they don't normally, but you know, they all, like, even Kristen, I'm like, you're 13 whatever years into reality TV and this is what you go with. Like, I did not like her look at all. It looked very Zara. To be honest, I have a dress similar to that I'm actually wearing to something this weekend, but it's not a reality TV show reunion.
Right, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like all of these look like really bad dresses from Newly or something. Like Lacey's is better, but even that it's very David's Bridal. So it's it's like, okay, fine. But like, I know there's better designers out in LA. Why are you guys wearing this? You know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what I was a little surprised at. I was like, they're all a little basic.
In a, like, you can be good basic too, right? You can be, you know, I thought Lala's was like boring basic, but it was okay. It wasn't offensive, right? Like it wasn't. It wasn't.
I've seen that
but
prom dress on girls all the time, right? Like that's fine. But weren't these looks supposed to stand out?
They should. That's what Real Housewives and all the other shows. I mean, like, if you look at Summer House Reunion, I know, Huma, you probably haven't seen that, but like Sierra, and then even Amanda had the butter yellow. That butter yellow looked way better on her than it did on Lacey.
Well, Amanda looked like a melting. I say this. Amanda didn't look like just butter yellow. She looked like the Land O'Lakes wrapper that is just holding on to the last nub of butter. That's what Amanda looked like, because it was like literally falling off of her. That fuck ass bun that she had on. Sorry, do you guys curse on the podcast?
That's totally fine. You're good. Yeah.
It was just like, it was like all of that. She looked nuts. I will say at least Lacey took it and made it a little bit more formal. But the thing that always cracks me up at all of these reunions is that it's very obvious that one, they don't talk to each other. Two, like nobody trades notes about like, are we going for a theme or anything? And like, you can always tell the reunion looks that like look like there's some cohesion. Like I will say that Summer House has been lately doing it really well, but like in the past you would always be like, everybody is attending a different party. Everybody is attending a brand new party. Like Lala's dress was really nice, but I do think that I can't remember where I've seen it before, but I think it may have been worn in like a confessional look by like Whitney Rose or something from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But you know, like I think that it's like, does anybody talk to anybody? You're not friends, because if you were actually friends with each other, you wouldn't have allowed Brittany.
Yes.
Poor Brittany.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Brittany should have worn like a Jessica Rabbit dress. That's what she should have worn with those boobs. She needs to wear a Jessica Rabbit dress.
And her hair, the way it
her
curls.
hair. Yeah.
It's a bad look.
Like
unfortunate.
they were going to a garden party. And,
well, the
and
men
the women were a combination of like prom, a wedding.
And like they just don't care.
They don't care. Also, the men look like they went to the same like retailer and were like, just give me the same suit in different colors, because that's what they did. They all just wore the exact same suit in different colors with their stupid loafers and their ankles showing. Put on socks. Put on socks. What is this?
And Jason's suit, like I'm like, what year is this? Because those are not pants from like the last 20, 30 years.
Wait, which
his
one is
pants were way
Jason?
too big. The
black
Oh, he's
gentleman.
the husband.
The black,
he's
the husband. Janet's husband.
Janet. I thought so when I saw the picture. Like I was like, this is superhero blue, and maybe she's going for like a Marvel, like Renaissance theme, like like.
That's so generous of you.
You're so nice.
I was trying to be nice, guys. And then, but when I saw the show, like I thought it was a well done dress. Like the back of her dress was it was hot. Okay,
I know. I'm gonna say it.
In
I'm
comparison,
gonna say Janet looked the best out of everybody.
Yeah, she
I
did,
think so
right?
too.
Her dress
Yeah,
was
she
the
did.
best one. Yeah. I'm trying to find what Jason's outfit looked like. I will say, okay, Jason's outfit was a little bit more, it's a little bit more like retro looking, but that is coming back. Like the men wearing like wider pants stuff looks back. Look, it's coming back. But like every single one of them wore a white t-shirt. Like either you wore the monochromatic, I'm looking at them, like Zach and Danny look like they talked to each other. And they said, yeah, we'll just get a suit and then wear a matching exact same shirt underneath. And then Luke and Jesse Lally and Tom Schwartz literally went to the same store and got the exact same outfit and put on a t-shirt underneath it. And Benji, I don't know if you guys have seen Benji's outfit. Benji looks great. Benji's the only one that's wearing like, he's so cute. He's the only one that's like dressed nicely. The green is impeccable on his skin. And by the way, I am not a fashion girl. All my clothes are either rented from Nuuly or from Old Navy or Amazon. Like I'm not here to like be like, oh my God, but you guys are on TV. You need to have a stylist. Like Benji's step it up. Benji's was the only one that looks really, really nice. And I guess if I'm going to rate him from like the men, like the main cast, Zach's is probably the best because it's also fitted to his body and the color looks nice on him.
Yeah, Zach's is nice.
While we're talking about the men, Jesse Lally with his full face of makeup was just so funny to me. It was so funny. He had rouge on his cheeks. He had mascara on.
I know. I was just like, and for a man who cries a lot, that is quite dangerous. Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Waterproof.
He probably knows about waterproof mascara.
It was probably Lacey that was like, if you're going to wear makeup, make sure it's waterproof because you cry way too much. Yeah.
I'm sure she said that
interesting dynamic, those two.
We'll get into it.
Do you think they like each other or do you think they hate each other and this is for the show? I kind of think the latter.
I think that they actually do like each other, but I think that Lacey likes him because he obviously worships the ground that she walks on, as every woman's partner should. But I think that Jesse, tolerates it because Lacey is an established person. Like Lacey she has like books out. She's got a podcast. You guys know Lacey's backstory?
No. Tell me Lacey's backstory. Because I was going to give a theory, and should I give you my theory first, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong or not?
Yeah.
Okay. my theory was that she was previously married to 1 to 2 rich men, and it did not go well. So she got a divorce, and now she wants to find a guy that she can kind of like control, and he'll, like you said, worship the ground she walks on, and she doesn't really need anything from him, and so she's just like good with that. And Jesse will do that for her and not Michelle, because she is rich and established.
Yeah, I think that's probably somewhat broken into like her psyche and how she functions. But Lacey's backstory is that she was kidnapped at a young age, and she's like a kidnapping childhood trauma survivor. Like she's like a girl that was like lost and kidnapped and then was found. And like I've not dug into like the full story, but she has like an entire like foundation where she talks about like not being shamed from like sexual assault as a child. Like so she's doing really important, really good work with her story. And I think that when she even speaks, and I'm sure Huma, you picked up on it, Lacey speaks about things very intelligently and all that stuff. Like when she's like, guys, the way that you guys deal with all this is like swimming in misogyny. And like I think that she's so smart about the things that she says, because you can tell Lacey's been in therapy for a really long time and she's like doing the work. Now that being said, Lacey, why are you with Jesse Lally then? That's confusing.
See, I think I'm going to go back to your question. I think they do like each other. I think they play up the antagonism, or Lacey kind of putting him in his place for the camera.
Yes.
I think that's what's going on, because I didn't get any like resentment or but wait, what's Dr. Dre's girl?
Michelle.
Okay, sorry. That's so sad. That's how I recognize her. Michelle and Jesse definitely. Ooh, like that was uncomfortable just to watch the barbs going back and forth. But Lacey, she's very articulate.
Very articulate.
It's like either she's been in therapy or she's gone to school for a very long time, or she has a lot of public speaking experience. Like she's articulate, and she throughout it all, she's very pro woman.
Yes,
she kept telling Michelle, right?
Yeah.
And
Lala and
Melissa.
Janet.
Melissa is
Jasmine's girlfriend.
Okay, all right.
Wife.
So Michelle, like she kept
Wife,
saying, like
yes.
as a mom, I support you, right? I mean, and that and I do think it's sincere, but like the way she talks, she kind of makes everybody else look a little bit less.
And they are.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Noor
think
said that, guys, not me.
No, I think that's a perfect read. Because I think that's also, I think, why Jesse loves Lacey, because Lacey comes into the room and shuts everybody up. Jesse thinks he's smart. He's not. But Lacey is actually smart, and she comes in and she talks down to all of them and is like, you guys are idiots. And I think that she does it in, like you said, a very eloquent way. She does it very intelligently in very simple words. She never raises her voice. She never loses her cool. And I think that that's why Jesse keeps her around. She's a great person to have on his side. And I think that as long as he continues to live life the way that Lacey wants him to, she'll keep him around, because like again he's a guy who just like worships the ground. That like I think you had a really good point. She apparently was only married for like a very short period of time. She said during the reunion she was married for like, I don't know, like less than Jesse, and less than a year. And so like I think that she's, like she said, the paperwork is too much. It's too much work for me to like get married again. She probably has way too much money. She's not dealing with that nonsense. So she's like fully in it to protect herself. I think Lacey is a person who knows exactly what she wants, and she knows exactly how to get it. And if Jesse is the dummy that is going to go along with it, he's also benefiting from her. So I think like it's a bizarre setup, but I guess it works for them. Look, everybody, ladies, chime in. Who doesn't want a mimbo? Like, who doesn't want a kind of a good-looking guy who's just like obsessed with them? Like, of course, that's fine. Of course,
I don't think he's that good-looking, though. I think she could be better in that department. But the
agree.
dynamic, I think, works well for her.
I think the dynamic works.
Yeah, exactly. But like Michelle, I feel bad for her, because I think Michelle is, whenever they talk about how young she was when she and Jesse got together, I'm like, oh God, she was really young. She was like, she had this guy at work that was like obsessed with her, and because they worked together. And then he like really pursued her. He love bombed her. And then when she had a kid, she was in full isolation during COVID. He stopped making any fucking money. And then she was like, screw this. I don't want to be with you anymore. And she had every reason to leave this man because Jesse is terrible. I don't know, Shabnam, if you watched the after I didn't watch the after show this season, but I did watch it last season. And during last season's after show, every single time they talked about the divorce, Jesse was so happy to talk about how long he's going to stretch it out for just to make Michelle's legal bills increase. He'd be like, yeah, I'm representing myself, so I don't have any legal bills. So I just like push things off. So
that's so vindictive.
Oh no, Jesse's a terrible person. Yeah.
What I noticed about him is it gives him some kind of joy to be mean to her. Like even in their tender moments, like when they were signing the divorce papers and they were together, he had to make the comment about Aaron's honey company to her. And she took it well, but he just cannot. It's like he gets some power over being mean to her. Yes. And he's not like that with Lacey.
Because he's insecure and he was with her when she was so young, and you can tell, like you can see the hurt, you can see the wound in her eyes when she talks. Like she's still very insecure. Lacey's not. That is a self-confident woman who's not going to put up with anyone's bullshit, and he responds to that. But insecure people, if they find someone who's feeling less than them, they're going to target them even more because it makes them feel better, right? And so he gets put in his place by Lacey, and then he takes it out on her, and she's still like, I mean, just to look in her eyes, man, it was sad. It was sad. Like, I don't know what kind of person she is, but it was just the power dynamics were interesting.
And that, guys, is a doctor's opinion. Okay. And so let's just that is, don't come at us. And I agree with you, by the way. I think that that's so good. I'm so happy that you're here to like give us that. Because I completely agree. And it's so hard sometimes to explain this to people, like, especially your average reality TV viewer, because they're like, well, that's not how it is for me. I've never behaved that way. And you're like, well, yeah, that's because that's not you. But like from a subject matter expert's position on it, I think that's such a good point because like you could see the insecurity, the hurt, all that stuff, because people sometimes watch reality TV and they just take it in at a very surface level, and they're not looking at the way people look. They're not looking at their eyes. They're not clocking that there's an obvious dynamic here that is driven from like humiliation. Like he wants to humiliate her all the time. And she has good reason to actually humiliate him because he's a deadbeat. His cards keep getting declined. And whenever she tries to say that, he's like, so you've never had like a fraud charge in another country? Like he's such a dick about it, but you're like, okay, so I know exactly what you're doing. It's so people with sense can see it so clearly. It's like so black and white, but like it is frustrating sometimes as a person who functions in like the reality TV fandom space where you're like, am I watching the same show that you guys are watching? Because like, how do you not see that? Yeah.
Also, just like you're saying, the problem is it's not a fair fight because Lacey's really articulate and Jesse's really mean, and Michelle's just like this wounded person that isn't that articulate, honestly. So
Well, and the hurt is going to trip her up. She's sitting right in front of the guy who like really messed her up from a very young age. Like also remember the age. Like these are formative years. Her frontal lobe was probably not even developed by then, right? When she met this dude, right? Or it's still like, so these are things that have gotten encoded and they're going to take time to unravel. And then you have this really beautiful blonde articulate Lacey she's dropping the points, and you could see her just like I felt like she was confident in other areas. Like when she wasn't with them, she was just a lot more reasonable. And then when they would come into the interplay, like, just making the quiet jabs. No, that's not how it was. Like it doesn't look well. It doesn't look good, right? When she kept saying, like I was like, stop saying that. Just let her talk, right? Like the more you're making those jabs, the more you look insecure. Like I kind of want to be like, girl, stop. It's all right.
My God, Huma, that's so true. Oh my God, those are such good observations because you're absolutely right. I think also it's like Jesse is mean to her, but she has good reason to fight back to Jesse because he's wrong. He's a liar and he's a mess, right? Like, you can't come at me. You're insecure too. But then when Lacey comes in, she's like, damn it, I am insecure compared to this woman. She does have it together, right? Like, and I think, you know, when Michelle says you yelled at me, you called me and you threatened me and all that stuff, like, even by the way, on the topic of threaten, did you notice that when Andy said like, oh, threatening, like kind of making fun of the way Michelle was not smiling because she was like, that's not funny. Like, I come from a house of 2 different languages. Like, don't do that. Like, she was like not in on that joke and she doesn't think it's funny or cute. And I actually agree. I don't think it's funny or cute either.
I agree. And if you're going to do that to her, at least also do it to Danny with his uncomfortable or like
uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Exactly. So like, but to go back to that, I think that when Michelle says like Lacey yelled at me, I don't think that Lacey is yelling because I don't think that Lacey yells. I think Lacey was just assertive and like to the point, and Michelle views that as yelling because she is insecure around this woman for good reason. You know?
But I also think that she's right in saying that just because somebody's not yelling at you doesn't mean they're not being threatening. Like, I do, I don't doubt that Lacey threatened to sue her or is like using cease and desist. I think Lacey has resources and she's smart and she's going to do things in a way to shut someone down that she wants to shut down.
Yep.
And that's threatening to Michelle. And I feel like Michelle doesn't know how to handle it.
Because she's a baby. Because she's a little baby. Like, she got it, the frontal lobe thing is like such a big thing for me. It's so cute. Like, I have nieces now that are like my cousin's daughters, right? And they're like in their they're in their 20s or like late teens, and it's so nice. It's so refreshing, by the way, to be like Pakistani and watching other Pakistani moms raise their kids without like the doom and gloom of like, you can't talk to boys and you can't do whatever and you can't wear this and you can't wear that. And I have multiple of my nieces have said, oh, I want to do this. Like, I want to get a nose job, or I want, you know, like this is the kind of guy I want to be with or whatever. But they always say, but I'm not making any of those decisions until after my frontal lobe is fully formed. And I'm like,
oh, that's so cute. Yay. I love that.
I'm like, that is, you're the good girls. Like, you know that you're going to make mistakes early on in life. It's okay. Like, you're 20, you're 21. Wear what you want and kiss a bunch of stupid boys. You're going to be fine. Like, none of this matters. It's okay. You know,
none of this matters.
And it's so nice because they're like, yeah, these are not smart decisions I'm making. My frontal lobe is important. Like, don't make me get married right now. I love it. It's so smart. But yeah, because like Michelle, like, yeah, she got swept up by this guy who like flew her to Paris, and like that's why she always cries. She's like, I really thought like he was my world, like he did so much for me, and like it was a picture perfect relationship, and then everything stopped when you actually marry a guy. And I think like, to bring it to Desi women, how many of us know women that got married in their early 20s who are now in their 30s into their 40s being like, I hate my husband, because they got swept up, right? You get swept up with this idea of like, this is a man that's going to fix everything. And I think Michelle has talked about her own parents. Like, I think her parents were divorced and her dad wasn't around. It was a very difficult childhood. So if you have, not to like slim it down to daddy issues, but like if you have a father who's not around as much, or like for Desi women, we don't always necessarily have a man in our lives who is, you know, emotionally available. And then you have this guy, Jesse, who like cries and like flies her to Paris and like wants to have a wedding in Capri and like all these very sensitive boy things. And then you marry him and time passes and you get to an age where you're like, no, actually you're a disaster. That happens a lot in Desi dynamics also, because you're essentially taking all the things you didn't get from your dad or the men in your life or your parents, and then you try to put it on this new relationship, which is your partner, and then you're like, oh, they can't fulfill that. And I hope Michelle knows that she's not going to get that fulfillment from anybody else. She has to find that within herself. Dr. Dre is not gonna do it.
No.
Also, Jesse,
they're huge too.
Huge,
like 23 years or something like that.
Also, Dr. Dre has a very problematic past with women. He is great musician. He is an abuser. We need to, and like Jesse, but then Jesse's sitting there and crying at me like, my daughter's first heartbreak was like,
oh God, that was so annoying.
Shut up. Your daughter's first heartbreak was when she watched her dad treat her mom like shit. That was her first
heartbreak. That was her first heartbreak. Yeah.
Totally.
Jesse does a very good job of pantomiming the sensitive, self-aware man. Ooh. because he's a little shit stirrer. Like when he was with Kristen, and what's Kristen's guy's name?
Luke.
Yes, Luke.
Like
oh,
when
God.
he went and told Kristen that Luke was saying,
yes,
that I don't know if I can marry her right now, and he was doing it under this guise of, I just feel so bad for you guys. I don't want this to happen. I was like, no, you're not. You're just starting drama. There were so many ways.
He was creating a scene.
He was creating a scene, but he comes off like he's pantomiming sensitive, self-aware man.
Yeah.
You're not. You're
the way that he shields Luke and Danny, I feel like he knows they're more toxic than him, and he loves to shield them to make himself feel important and to like curry favor with them. It's just, I don't know. It really bothers me. And I don't know why he wants to be like, maybe I'll cut this out for lack of a better word, the skinniest kid at fat camp with these two.
Don't cut that out. Keep it, because that's so correct. Like he's like, these macho guys, they don't get it, but I'm sensitive. I cry. I'm a girl
richer
dad.
than him? Is there? Are they like more in with like?
He's broke as fuck, so I think everyone's richer than him.
Popularity dynamics in this group of like people in their 30s and 40s.
What are the popularity dynamics?
Like, why are there popularity dynamics? Like, you guys are like middle aged or like creeping towards middle age. Why is like, you know, like there was, and I know I'm pivoting a little bit, but Zach and Janet and like the whole 5 minutes of like, you were supposed to follow me on Instagram. Guys, I'm sorry, my neurons died.
No,
died.
Mine too. You're in it. We're all in it together. We all went.
Yes.
Huh? Is this a thing?
Who
Are we
cares?
really talking about this? Who cares? Yeah.
Like in the vast scheme of things, I'm on Janet's side, but why she keeps begging Zach for a follow and to say that she's his friend, it's just so weird. I don't get it.
I think that for the most part, Janet is poking fun. I actually think so. I know people in real life who know these people in real life. And so and when Janet's first season happened, I talked to one of my friends who is a good friend of Janet's. And I said, girl, are you sure you still want to be friends with this girl? And she said, no, I don't know what Janet is doing on TV. And we're all wondering why Janet is doing the things that she's doing. Now, granted, season 1, she was very pregnant. So it could have been driven by that. But I do think
postpartum rage.
Yeah. Or pregnancy rage. Like, who knows?
Pregnancy rage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that Janet, everybody I know who knows Janet in real life is like, Janet is the sweetest, funniest, most like goofy girl. Like, she's very much into making fun of herself. She's very silly about stuff. Like, nothing is really that serious. I think season 1, she was pregnant and she did take things like too seriously. She escalated a lot of stuff. But if you think about it, Kristen, you've done that too. And like, I think that that's why Janet had a rough start to the show, but I do think that everybody is coming around to it. Now, the thing with Zach, like, I think it's mostly fun and games, but also Janet is very much aware of how the fandom works. And it's like, if Zach was to, and Zach is too. So if Zach was to suddenly start following Janet, he knows that somebody like Kristen views that as like a great stab in the back. Like, Kristen is the kind of person who like really takes those things so seriously that she would be somebody who's like, I can't believe you did that to me, Zach. Like, she would be, but like,
she wants
so
to pretend
offended.
like she's not, and that's what's so upsetting to me. She's just completely lying and trying to pretend like she does not care about those things
lies,
at all.
Guys? What is up with the lies? Is this a thing in reality? Because I was like, because Danny lies, Kristen lies, and they're lying, and I'm like, and then they go back from a non-reality person, watcher, viewer, right? Then they show the video of them clearly saying what they said, and I'm like, do these people not know that at some point this is going to be on? They know this. It's going to be on TV. You're going to get caught. Do they just like temporarily disassociate?
Yeah.
And okay, because I was just like,
I think
like
so.
my flabbers were gasted. I was just like, but you're lying, and we have like, there's video proof, and you know there's video proof. So why are you lying? Like,
I don't think he's lying. I think maybe he doesn't remember. But
because he was so
Kristen
drunk.
is definitely lying. Like, Kristen I think she's afraid of Nia for some reason. And the only reason I can think of is that she feels like for the life of her, she needs Nia's marriage to work out, because if Nia's marriage doesn't work out, her relationship has no chance in hell. That's
Clock
the only
it.
like, thing I can
Clock it.
Why?
That's correct. Why?
Yeah.
Because Kristen's
Explain.
a
I don't
loser.
get this. Okay.
because Kristen sucks. Okay, Kristen Doty, since the beginning of
Yes.
time, since we've known her, is a hot mess. Okay,
Yes.
she is a disastrous human being. I will say she's a hot mess, but I do believe, like, especially seeing her anxiety play out and stuff, I think that there is like a neurodivergence there that like likely could have benefited from some early intervention. But I think that there is, as long as we've known Kristen, she is a sheep. She will follow anybody into the pit of darkness. Like, she will do that. Even like in our earliest, memories of Kristen was that she was with Tom Sandoval, and it was a horrible relationship, but she was so obsessed with being a girlfriend to a guy that everybody liked at work that she let him treat her like shit. Right. And then afterwards, her whole thing was like, even though she screwed Stassi over, her whole thing was like, I need to be Stassi's best friend. And then I don't know, Homa, if you're aware of why Kristen left the show or why she was fired off of Vanderpump Rules. She and Stassi and Jax, well, no, Jax was still on it, I think. I can't remember. No, Jax was also kicked off. But she and Stassi, on Stassi's podcast, laughed about calling the military police on a black cast member because they saw a video of a coworker basically. They saw a video of a woman, I don't know, like robbing a gas station or something, and they watched the video and then they said, oh, that's Faith, and then they called the military police on a black woman, got her kicked off the show, like calling the cops on a black girl, right? And then like,
and it wasn't even her.
It wasn't her. No, of course it wasn't her.
Yeah,
it wasn't her. So Kristen is terrible, and Kristen's the one that called, and Kristen and Stassi talked about it on Stassi's podcast, released it into the open, and we're like, ha, 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 like laughing about it because they thought it was so funny. And then fast forward 2020, Black Lives Matter movement happens, and all of the viewers were like, why are you still keeping Kristen on the show, Bravo, if you care so much about Black lives? This is literally what we're talking about, is the dangers of white people falsely accusing black people of crimes and then they end up dead. Like, that is the whole point. And so Kristen was kicked off the show. Then The Valley starts, and a lot of people chose not to watch The Valley because of Kristen. But Kristen's whole thing, Kristen was only able to gain any type of like relevancy from the fandom because Kristen and Ariana became really, really good friends when Scandival happened. So Kristen got to be like, I told you so. Tom Sandoval's always been really, really bad. So she got to come in and swoop in as Ariana's best friend. And that's another thing Kristen does. Kristen loves to be somebody's best friend. I love her. She's my best friend. She's my sister. She loves to say it. It used to be Stassi. Then it was Ariana. Then it was Brittany. And now it's Nia. And with Nia, her whole thing of like why she's so obsessed with Nia is because, again, Kristen does this thing where she goes 120% into every single friendship she has. And and she will defend them to the death, even if it's something that she knows she shouldn't be supporting. Because she just doesn't want to be wrong ever. Kristen
she has like black and white thinking in that way. And she's like, no, this person's perfect. You know?
Exactly. So even her, one thing I noticed that she started calling Danny Daniel, and I was like, that's not your husband. Why are you? Nia's the only one who calls him Daniel. So for her to be
which is annoying in and of itself.
Which is so annoying. But then her being like, I've never seen that side of Daniel before. And I was like, Daniel, like that's for his wife. That's so weird that you call it like, and another thing that some listeners have pointed out is Kristen's obsession with some of her girlfriends borders on like love. Like she falls in love with them almost. And the way she allows some of her like romantic partners to get away with stuff, she'll also let her friendships get away with stuff. So I think that that's like some of Kristen's stuff. But I agree with you. Her obsession with making sure that Danny and Nia work out is rooted in her making sure that she and Luke work out, because Luke is the opposite of every guy she's probably dated in LA, right? Like Luke is not a reality TV guy. Luke lives in a bunker in Colorado. He's like Mr. Outdoors and alpha and all that stuff. So like she gets to say like, oh, well, I tried everything with LA, but now this is the man that I chose to have a baby with because he's like a manly man. And
which has like hints of misogyny and patriarchy. And just some disgustingness.
Luke is the manly man?
Who was that? The man who looks like Van Gogh? That one? Yeah. The sickly Victorian child with the pink suit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
he's supposed to be purported as like,
on that.
I go hunting and I go fishing and like I don't even watch reality TV, and I chose to give up all of that to be with you and have a child with you. And he's allegedly, by the way, 35 or 33. Like, he's young.
Yeah, he's like 5-6 years younger than her. Yeah.
He's like 8 years younger than her because she's in her 40s.
Oh,
so he's
geez.
like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that was like another thing, right, Kristen? Like, I think Kristen she found this guy who is opposite of everything she's probably ever dated, thought that like trying something new is going to work out. But again, similarly to Michelle, it's like, you're not going to find that love and security in a man. You need to find that within yourself. And if you keep going to therapy with the idea that, oh, if I fix myself, then this man will love me, then you'll never be okay.
Yeah.
So she went for, she's in her 40s. So she went for a guy who is 8 years younger than her and who has a level of disdain for the way she makes part of her living via reality shows.
Yes.
And
and
she had
disdain
his
for where she
baby
lives.
in a different state, and she had his baby, and she's in her 40s, and he's younger than her. He doesn't respect what she does for a living. What?
Yep.
Yeah, no, correct.
And
yeah,
so
correct.
this is and I was so surprised.
What?
I was so surprised a couple seasons ago, or like maybe last season, when he was so excited to have a baby with her, right? And I was like, this feels weird. And now I know why, because I don't think he knew what it meant at all. I don't think he like understood what like having a kid entailed. Like, oh, you have to be a dad and you have to be a good partner. I don't think he.
Yeah, I also wonder if Kaya was a boy, if his view of it would have been different. Like, he would have been like, oh yeah, I want to spend time with my son. I want to take him fishing. I'm going to get to do all these things with my boy child, with my male child. And like, I don't think that he got that. And instead he has like a girl who Kristen is obsessed with. And he's like, well, now I'm not part of it. And like, now she's always doing everything and she's always spending time. And like, I think that he's, honestly, what you said about like he didn't know what it entailed, I bet you he doesn't know where eggs live in a woman's reproductive system. He has no idea what fallopian tubes are. He does not know. If you were to give him
how babies are made,
he barely knows how babies are made. If you were to give him an anatomical drawing of the female reproductive system, he would be like, where's the vagina? And he would just
Oh my God.
he would just like point out the uterus.
Yeah.
He would say that there it is. And we'd be like, no, that's not it. You know, like I feel like you clocked it where you said like he didn't know what it entailed. I don't think that he's ever even had to think about it. He just was like, oh, I go fishing with my dad, so I'll just have a kid and I'll go fishing with it. Like, that's what he thought, like, being a dad meant.
Like a girl. Yeah.
And then he has like
golfing
LA
with
girl.
his brother.
So like there's no reaffirmation of his masculinity. He didn't produce a boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he looks the way he does. Like, I mean, no, I mean, he's a fine looking individual.
No, he's not.
It's just that. Well,
you can't take it back now.
No. I mean, I would never have picked up on the fact that this is supposed to be like the alpha male.
I know that's why it's so funny.
I
Number one guy in the group.
Yeah, like if you had said that about like Danny, okay, like I can see.
Really? How can you see that? Okay, also, did Bravo do him dirty by giving him a lower cushion, or is that just the way he looks? Because that was wild.
I think he's a wee lad. I think he and Jesse Lally are both wee
Danny's
lads.
brow
and
makes him look very
Neanderthal-y.
Yeah, like man, I'm a man.
Oh, that's
so like, so that's why like Luke, I'm just like, you're like, this is like, I need to go back. I'm not going to go watch the show again, but like if I did, I would go back and view it through that lens.
But yeah, and like that's why I think like Kristen needs that Danny and Nia marriage to work out, because that is her idea of what a good marriage is supposed to be. She wants that to be her relationship, of this like traditional marriage of husband and wife, and where they go to church and stuff. Like, I would not be surprised if Kristen has started going to church with them, because it feels like something Kristen would do. And they're very much, all of their discussion about therapy, Danny and Nia's, is actually rooted in like therapy through your church,
talking
like,
to their pastor or something.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm like, oh brother, we don't have enough time to get into that. But like, they're so, I mean, we should get into it actually.
Yeah, I mean, we should get into it. What's crazy about Kristen trying to model her marriage off of them is Nia is like emotionally managing / manipulating Danny at every turn. And Kristen doesn't have that. She needs Luke to be that person, and Luke is not that person. So they have no chance of modeling off of Nia and Danny.
Yeah, very different relationship dynamics.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Nia and Danny now?
Let's do it.
They're my nightmare. Oh my
I
God.
feel like I should get paid for talking about them.
No, you should. You should. They should. Bravo needs to be cutting you a check and be like, you guys go listen to Chai After Dark because this doctor is going to psychoanalyze Danny Bucco, which is actually like, it's such a simple like analysis also. Him looking like a Neanderthal, by the way, was so funny to me because, I mean, shout out to Botox. I get it myself. Okay. But
Yes.
you could tell that his entire forehead had been over injected because it was
Yes.
so heavily weighing down on the rest of his face. He looked insane. And I was like, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I was like, go back and get a little brow lift, you know? Like,
But like, because I kind of felt bad thinking that about him. I'm like, okay, like dissing on someone's physical appearance, but they also put themselves out on a reality show. Like, like it's a mixed bag for me, right? But then I went and I Googled it. I was like, am I the only one who's seeing it? And no, you're right. Like, it is a side effect of Botox. And then I was like, but you live in LA, right? No, like LA, right? Yeah.
Santa Clarita.
Yeah. They moved to Santa Clarita an hour away.
You have like access to like some of the best. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
My favorite not terrible moment of his is when they're leaving their lunch on his birthday and he says, "Bye bye, mahahuitas, muchas gracias por mi birthdeo." And then the Mexican guy goes, "Cumpleaños, would you like another drink?" She's like, oh my God, what is happening? Do better. Your wife is Mexican.
And it was funny because, yes, his wife is Mexican, but did you notice that Nia barely spoke Spanish and Michelle did? Michelle was like, you're saying the wrong words. Michelle was like,
I didn't know Nia was Mexican until like 45 minutes ago when you guys brought it up. I had no idea because I didn't look it up. So yeah, she didn't speak Spanish at all then because I didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
That she was Mexican. And why is Danny so obsessed with his birthday?
I think he's
that should not be allowed for straight men over 30. That should not be allowed.
Why? I get it. It's your birthday. It's your special day. But it's not everyone else's special. I don't know. Like, I was just like, this man is really heartbroken.
It's also Nia's anniversary, too, and he didn't.
No. It was not Nia's anniversary. It was his anniversary. He said that very clearly. It's my birthday. It's my anniversary.
I think that Danny, I think that Danny does not want to be on the show. He is only on the show because Nia wants to be on the show. I think that Danny moving them to Santa Clarita was his way of getting them off of the show. And that's why Nia is struggling through driving a baby while they're screaming an hour and a half to film scenes in a sticky like cafe with Kristen. I think she's doing it because she's like, no, Daniel, we need to do this because like we need to show everybody that like, if we get off the show, then everybody wins. And then everybody gets to say that we're like actually not a perfect couple. And Danny's like, okay, I'll let you do it, but I'm going to keep drinking and being a horrible human being. Like they're so toxic in every single way. Like they're so toxic and everything they talk about is rooted in like, well, we went to go see our pastor and we really lead with faith. Like I don't listen to their podcast, but apparently they did an episode and the Vanderpump Pod account, I think is called, they recap or like they listen to these podcasts and they'll like put up like a little recap of what was discussed. And Danny and Nia had one where they were just talking about like how every time they've had issues, they just like, it's faith led. It's like faith based. And you're like, ugh, that's like your faith is leading you down a road where you're going to excuse your husband's terrible behavior because you think that it's now your responsibility. Have you guys read the book Yesteryear or heard about it?
No.
So Yesteryear is a book that just came out this year. I forgot the name of the writer, but the big attention on it was that it was purchased, like the rights to the movie or the show or whatever were purchased by Anne Hathaway, and Anne Hathaway is going to be like either making the movie or show or whatever. But the entire book is based on, the premise of the book is that you have a trad wife influencer who has this huge influencer account as a trad wife, and then she wakes up one morning and she is living in a world in like the 1800s where she has to do all the things that traditionally trad wives do, like churn butter and make their own bread. And so that's what the book is based on. Like that's what the premise of the book is. But I think that it's also, I think, why Nara Smith, who was like, really in the news recently because she was on Call Her Daddy. That's why I think she flipped her tone, because she was like, everybody knows that we're full of shit because of this book. Like, I think that they think that they're fooling us, but I think that with Danny and Nia, it's a very similar thing. And in the book, one of the things that you find out early on is that this trad wife influencer knows that her husband is a fucking imbecile. She knows that he's an idiot. And the reason why she needs to keep doing this is because he doesn't make enough money for them. He just keeps failing at everything he does. So she has to figure out a way to take charge without making him feel emasculated. And I think that's what's going on with Danny and Nia, is that she is trying to figure out how to take charge without him feeling emasculated. So that's why she'll be like, Daniel, I'm just checking in on you, Daniel. Daniel, the cameras are there. Like, don't speak to me this way, Daniel. And like, we need to talk to, and that's why she's going to these patriarchal institutions to get therapy and fix her marriage, is because she's like, well, if I go there, then it still proves that I'm prioritizing him and his feelings. Yeah. And I'm using the church as a way to get what I want while still letting this terrible man think that he's in control. Right. Which is like, this is going to blow up in your face, mama.
Oh, yeah. And it's also 100% agree. And it's also really triggering, because I feel like this isn't unique to churches and Christian people, right? Like I've seen this with Muslim people as well, right? And to be honest, this season got really dark, and it's hard to watch for that reason, because she is like bending over backwards, doing all the jujitsu moves she knows how to do to make him seem okay. And he's not okay. Like even in the finale episode, when they're like walking out and she's like, these are terrible people. She's like, I can't believe you're so calm. I was like, so calm. He's literally about to pass out. He's not calm because he's managing his emotions.
Yeah. Like, he's not with it.
Yeah. And she's just saying that in front of the camera to make him seem like, see, like he can be like really controlled. It's like, no, he's literally on the verge of falling over.
Yeah, that finale episode was so funny because everybody was like, oh my God, Janet threw a drink at his face. You know what? I think we should be letting more women throw drinks on misogynist faces. And I would love to see, I want it always to be soundtracked by an editor going boink when the cup like pops on their head. I think it was so funny and it was hilarious. I'm like, don't be so sensitive and like, oh my God, she splashed a solo cup on this drunk man who makes her feel uncomfortable, who's downplayed her experience. All of the men on this show have downplayed Janet's experience and Janet's triggers, where Janet is literally like, I don't want to be around this man. He makes me feel uncomfortable for X, Y, and Z reason. And yes, I maybe use the wrong words to talk about him, but that is why he triggers me, period. And none of these, all of these men, and all of these men that were like, oh, we never heard of that before. Like, I can't believe Tom Schwartz was a voice of reason there to be like, actually, we should be listening to her and believing what she has to say, right? Like, all
from
all
someone
of that.
Who's not watched the show, Tom was like the good guy. Like, he's not a good guy. I don't know.
But he's just so dumb that if it takes Tom to be the voice of reason, we know what world we're in.
Because like I don't have any context for any of these people. So, and then Tom's not, like the 2-3 episodes that I watched, Tom's not a major presence. So when I was watching it, I was like, Tom kind of gets it. Like he's the only one who's listening. Like, and it's just, one thing I have to say about this show, like 2 points. Like, first of all, I completely agree with you. Like this trad wife, there is a duplicity to these women. Jennifer Welch on iHip, other podcast, I really love her. She says these women who carry water for the patriarchy, which in our culture, their culture, cross culture, right? It's going to come back and bite them in the butt at some point. It is, right? And like you can see it in Nia's loss of she's not able to manage Danny that much. She's standing in front of Lala like what are you are you his bodyguard, right? What is going on here, right? And
lineman in a prairie dress,
right? And then I also felt like there was such a weaponization, like kudos for showing that people go to therapy because so many people won't go, but there was such a weaponization of like we're in therapy because the show then it does diminish Danny's toxicity. And I'm going to treat these people like characters and not real people. Like maybe he's not. I don't know what's going on. Like I as a psychiatrist, I'm always like, do I really want to comment? Like I don't want to lose a nuance. But from the show's perspective, because then when I was trying to figure out like what did Danny do to Janet, and then it was like the whole closet thing. But then later on, I don't know if it was Jasmine or somebody was saying that Danny, when he gets drunk, he grabs women's asses.
He did that before. He touched Jasmine and Melissa
And Melissa,
one of their asses.
Yeah,
Yes.
he groped
So
them.
for someone who's
more.
like just coming into
Yeah.
this, right? That was such a like a throwaway comment, right? Why wasn't that like harped on over and over again? Like they were just kind of like, oh, when Danny gets drunk, he misbehaves, and it's like, no, he doesn't misbehave. He is assaulting people. These are unwanted sexual.
That's a
touches.
legally correct word. That is a legally correct word. And for some reason, they feel like it's fine. Like they've made a deal, even Jason and Janet, to stop using that word. That is the legal correct word.
It is if it's like, and I think that's where people think like sexual assault is only rape. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Sexual assault has a whole umbrella of things that it can be. And because I remember it was like towards the end, I think of like, I don't know, maybe the reunion episode or somewhere where I was like, wait. So it wasn't just like he like closed the closet door or something. He actually touched women without their
and he
consent.
said apparently he's like slapped their thigh and said, "Go get daddy a drink."
Okay, like we cannot.
Yes.
Like, so I felt like the show really downplayed that for a show that like
Really
where all the characters are like, oh, we're in therapy, we're in therapy. You're really downplaying
And that's what's
what
so
he did.
dark about this. That's what's so dark
Yes.
about this show is that they're hiding that. And this is a man with 3 daughters. It's like, do better. This is what you
Yeah.
want the world to be for them.
Well, and I had mentioned this to you, Shabnam, over messages, but Danny's father, they like found out all this stuff about people. Thank God for the internet. Danny's dad, Paul Bucco, is the senior pastor at a church in Michigan where he's originally from. And that man has faced severe accusations from former staff and former church members that said that while he is in church leadership, he has attempted to cover up instances of sexual abuse involving minors at the church. So this is who Danny's father is. Okay, this is who Danny's father is. And there's grooming happening. There's sexual abuse happening with like teenagers at this church. And while his dad is in leadership, I don't know if he was involved in it or whatever, but he was involved in discrediting somebody's testimony about this and like trying to get like, this person held accountable for what they did to this person. And like, again, I want to be very clear that this is not just and I'm so glad you guys said, this is not just a Christian problem. This is a patriarchy problem. No. This is a problem that exists. We know this happened. There's stories about this happening at mosques. There's stories that happen in Desi families where you have an uncle that everybody knows is just like, oh, that's just like the creepy, gross uncle. But you still have to go up and say salam to him and give him a hug because he gave you Eid. Like these are the things that, it's like you said, Huma, I think I love, by the way, I've Had It. Those 2 ladies, by the way, are Bravo girls. Huma, do you know that? They were on a show on Bravo before.
Wait, who? I'm sorry?
The I've Had It podcast that you talked about before. Were you talking about
Oh, Jennifer Welch.
Yeah,
and, they are?
They were on a show on Bravo
I love them
Sweet Home Oklahoma.
So
yeah. So they, but like, that this idea of like carrying the water for the patriarchy, like, that is the stuff that we are as women trying to grow out of. And I think that the way that we've been existing as women, right, is that there is this desire to make sure that we don't emasculate the man when we tell him that he shouldn't do something, right? It's a lot of like, I have to be sensitive to his feelings and all that stuff. And it's like, why are you doing this when our entire existence we've been told over and over again that women are the sensitive ones? Women are the ones that like they're too emotional and they're too irrational, right? Like you have somebody like Danny, and we're seeing what Nia's doing. And we're also seeing Kristen do it with Luke. It's the same thing. It's like, and in that regard, you look at somebody like Lacey who's constantly putting Jesse down and you're like, that's kind of goals. Like
refreshing.
Yeah, exactly.
Danny even says, Shabnam Noor, like he even says, because I wrote it down, to Nia, don't heighten me or something like that.
He's like, don't talk to me in a way that's going to heighten me. That was like right before she did the lineman thing.
Is that a threat? What the hell?
Probably.
Like I felt like, I'm like, am I being gaslit by this show that like are people like, do I need to go on Reddit and be like, are people like thinking the same as me? Because this is not
No, you're right.
good.
And what
This is bad.
was crazy is right after that, her solution to that was to find a different way to manipulate him, which I feel like this was like her last and desperate plea to get him to go upstairs with her. She was like, these are terrible people. These are all terrible people. And I feel like she was trying to say, you're wonderful. You are like better than these people. Let's go. Yeah. And then Brittany was like, what? We're terrible people. And then he started going, no, you're not terrible. You're terrible. And she was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. And then she had to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that she's always,
really sad.
And I think that Nia is aware of how embarrassing Danny is. She is aware that he's an imbecile. She is aware of those things because even when they go to the club and she's like, don't shake your hips, like, don't do anything embarrassing. And then he goes around being like, I'm going to make people feel uncomfortable because I'm going to shake my hips. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And I'm so shocked that they didn't talk about that at the reunion, to be like, Nia, nobody said that. That was you projecting your own shit and your own fear that Danny is going to embarrass you, because Danny is embarrassing. Because Danny is embarrassing you. Like, I think like it's always this thing of like, well, I treated my wife poorly, but they don't talk enough about the fact that he is also embarrassing her every single chance he gets. She is defending him constantly, and he is constantly embarrassing her, even when she's not around. He's constantly doing something like talking poorly in Spanish to a man who perfectly speaks English to him and has likely been speaking in English to him on the boat the entire day, right? Like, it's that kind of stuff. And I wish that they would talk about it, because it's like Nia is embarrassed by him and she's always trying to control the narrative. She was on Fox News. I was like, why are you on Fox News? Like, because I think she's fully in this mindset of, I don't think that feminism is going to accept me because I have swayed too far to the other side. So my only option now at this point is to live in this conservative space and just let these people defend me and say this is the Christian way and this is the way that God intends for it to be. And it's so sad because, again, it is not common. It's not something that's specific to Christianity. It's something that we see a lot in a lot of Desi circles. We've seen a lot of women that are married to men that are embarrassing, that continue to embarrass them, but the women continue to be with them because they're like, well, this is the bed I've made and this is where I need to sleep, and it's too scary to be outside of this. Because before this, Nia was living in a car. So
that's really sad.
Nia has a lot of trauma.
Yeah, but I feel like there's something really beautiful about religion and culture. And a lot of people go to it to create discipline in their lives for spiritual growth and becoming better people. But I think there's also this group of people that will go to religious institutions because they know they're not really that great. And if they stick with the label, if they stick with the community, they'll get a lot of passes because people will, because they have the name of this group on them, people will give them more chances. And that's an unfortunate reality. I think there's a lot of predators that are attracted to religious institutions because of that. And that's why we have the issues we have in all conservative religious circles.
Yeah, I feel better because I'm better than you.
Yeah. And I'm this
not
label,
good.
And so I'm XYZ.
Yeah, I'm not good for the sake of being good. I'm good by comparison.
Or if I go to the church
5 times a day, or you're not,
exactly. If I go to church every Sunday, or if I go to Juma on Friday, then if I'm a shitty husband or a shitty son or a shitty whatever, I do that. So I'm okay.
Yeah. And also, if my wife complains about me to somebody, nobody will believe her because I'm always in the front line of Jummah prayer. I'm always there. I'm the first person to donate during the fundraisers. I'm the first person to volunteer at church. How could it be me? I'm not a shitty person. Look at me. I'm always giving to the community. And I think you're absolutely right. Religious institutions create a space for men to continue to do harm to women because they are protected under the guise of being part of religious communities. I think that's such a great point. And I think that's, again, not specific to Christianity. It's true in a lot of patriarchal religious institutions.
On our religious institutions, like, and Shabnam has heard this rant, and so I'm going to take this opportunity to just throw it in, because Shabnam and I both were married at a little bit of an older age. And I have seen amongst like the more conservative in a certain way. I don't, not judging people who are more
traditional.
Like, then that's fine, right? But there is such a anti-LGBT like slant in our mosques and churches and whatnot, and how that's the erosion of like family values. Like Shabnam and I, we weren't like in our late 30s because we were dating men who were secretly gay. We were dating men who were babies, and we don't call that out. Why aren't there like imams who are like doing like the, hey, women, men, like we need to raise our boys better to respect women. Like we didn't get married late in life because of the gays. The gays didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, God,
but
I
like
love
there's
this.
such an emphasis on like the LGBTQ community is the breakdown of the family unit. No, it's not. It's not the reason why there's so many women who are unmarried right now. That is not, and so like I feel like shows like this, when they kind of almost downplay Danny's juvenile misogynist behavior.
Oh my God.
Just
I love that I found you guys, because that's just like I'm like, anytime somebody says something or like uses a slur or like tries to say something about gay people, my husband's like, I can hear your head whipping across the room being like, what did you just say? What do you want to expand on that? Do you want to expand? Like, I am the person that is immediately like, if you make a joke that talks about gay people or any marginalized community and you use them as the butt of your joke, I'm the person that's going to be like, explain that to me. Tell me why that's funny. Tell me, why do you think that's funny? Is that funny? Like I
was going to say, it's never the people who are really good husbands and really good, fathers that say that kind of stuff.
Or men who are actually really secure with who they are.
Yeah.
It's always like the insecure men who are so threatened by the LGBTQ community. And it's just like this our religious institutions are not working on actually, I hate saying it like this, but improving the caliber of men.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not.
Right? Like it's just, they're not.
No.
And that's a cross-cultural, cross-religious thing.
Yeah. I saw a meme recently that said this generation is the first one where women can get married to a man for his character, and that's why there's a lot of single women.
Correct. Like my husband and my brother, I have two older brothers. One is very religious, more conservative, and the other one is more like me. And so my husband and my brothers are part of this like WhatsApp group chat, and it's a bunch of these guys in like central and North Jersey or whatever, and they're like married guys and they play basketball together and they play football together, but a lot of times the WhatsApp will talk about what's happening in the community. When that whole thing happened a couple of years ago, it was June 2023, where like those imams wrote that letter being like, we need to figure out how to navigate these differences in religious communities, and like LGBTQ people are not supposed to be part of Islam. And whenever that whole thing happened, and it was so surprising because you had like imams that I looked up to in America, like not looked up to because like I'm not looking up to any man, but there were people on that list that I was like, I thought you were normal. Like I thought you were like progressive,
Yeah.
And they were essentially saying that there was no space for queer people to exist inside of mosques and stuff. When that whole thing happened, my brother Raheel, who is very progressive, and my husband were both like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. There are bigger problems in the Muslim community for you guys to be writing a letter about gay people. The fear is not gay people infiltrating our mosques. The fear is that there's a bunch of imams that are doing inappropriate shit to women. The fact that we had like, what is that guy? I forgot the name of the imam that was in Dallas a couple of years ago that got caught. Noman Ali Khan. Yeah, he's like, the fact that you have somebody like Noman Ali Khan who was deplatformed for like 3 seconds and then given a platform again after he like was caught doing all kinds of shady shit with women. He was using a woman that was his employee to blackmail her because he was secretly married to her. Like that, all of that stuff. He was like, that is a bigger problem than queer people showing up at your masjid. You're so scared of gay people showing up at your masjids that you are not focusing on the fact that you have terrible men in your leadership. And that is such a great point that you brought up about like how a lot of this stuff is like navigated, right? We're using all this sensitivity about like, how do we deal with men and their issues, and like, how can wives make it more comfortable for these men when instead of, and that is the focus, and like, oh, we need to make sure that men stay masculine and we can't have these women making decisions because the gay people and the women are causing men to be emasculated. No, men are being told to be better, and you guys just don't like hearing that. Like that is, if Danny's father is a man who has on record for years and years and years in church leadership covered up abuse, he is probably of the school of thought of, you just don't talk about these things. These are things that you don't have to talk about. Why would you talk about negative things? Oh, these people are so terrible. I don't want to be around all this negativity and toxicity. You're toxic, Nia. You're negative. Like you're a problem. And it's that like, and Homa, like you brought up, like, you're like, am I being gaslit? I don't think that, okay. there's a lot of people that feel that this type of stuff should not be platformed. And I do think that to some degree that is true. But I do also think that it's really important to put a spotlight on stuff that we know is really, really bad. Because yes, there are people out there that are going to look at Danny and Nia and say, those are just two good Christian people and you guys are just hating them because they're Christian. But a majority of us are watching this going, this isn't good. This is not what we want for our future. This is not what we want for the women in our lives, right? And I think that and I go back and forth because I'm like, we are still platforming them. We are still giving them thousands of followers. But the reality is that if we didn't platform them, they would have figured out a way to get famous on Instagram. And then we would have no way of putting a spotlight on them. Then they would be fully curating their fakeness, which is what trad wives do, you know?
Oh, Nia, that's what Nia's whole Instagram is.
On TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
So at least like this is like something where discussion and you can show that like how the show itself is not doing a good job of highlighting these themes, and if in any way maybe even contributing to these themes, right? So I mean,
yeah, of course,
if there is going to be this show, then there needs to be commentary on it and calling them out on it. I do wish that the reunion show, and again, I'm not a part of this world, like I mean in the sense I don't watch it regularly, but like Andy, I wish he would have maybe called it out a little bit more. He seemed very detached from the whole thing. I thought he was bored. What's his last name? Andy
Cohen. Andy Cohen.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to decide whether or not to cancel the show. You know.
I wish Andy had gone in a little harder. I wish he had called the men out a little bit harder, called Nia out a little bit harder. Like he was just kind of like, I was like, are you gonna fall asleep?
That's Andy. There are like there's top tier shows that Andy, like you can tell, has watched. Like Andy has so much fun on the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion because he's watched the shows and he's like a fan of these women and he's like giggling and like laughing along with it, right? There's certain shows like this one, like The Valley, he's always like, somebody write the cue cards for me. I'm so sick of these people because I don't think
so
that
I read
The
that
Valley
correctly, right? Because I was like, I was like, he does not care at all.
I'm hoping that on the third part of the reunion, he's like, you guys are making me millions. I'm hoping that in part 3 of the reunion that we do get more of that, because the way that this last one ended was where everybody's trying to pretend like Danny didn't get blackout drunk and do crazy shit to at Jasmine's wedding. And I like the fact that all of the women are like, Jesse, you're the one that told us, and now you're gonna act like you didn't. And Jesse's like, "There's nothing to see here. Nothing happened at the wedding." Like he's such an obvious liar. But it is funny to see that. It is nice to see that call out happening. I want to talk really briefly about the way they were talking about the fandom and how Danny and Kristen only had empathy for Janet after 2 seasons. After they themselves were dealing with that harassment. And it was so crazy that Kristen, who was literally kicked off the show, could not see what was happening in the fandom when she was treating Janet the way that she was for the last 2 seasons, right? And it like just goes to show the low EQ that these people have. Their emotional intelligence is so low, and it's just
and
so
where are all those
sad.
Religious values when it comes to and where do those religious values go?
They don't exist, right? It's hee hee ha ha when it's your enemy, but like it's only really hard and sensitive to me when it's happening to me personally. And that's like, that is also why as a people in America, we are where we are, because people only care when it happens to them and not to the people around them. Yeah. And so, the fact that Janet was crying and she was like, I don't want Danny to go through that. I think it was also painful for her because she was like, now I have to be sensitive to this guy who is actually a terrible person when they have showed no sensitivity to me. None. It sucks. I felt bad for Janet. I'm glad at some point she was like, I'm done. I don't want to. She had to sit there. Like, if it's triggering for Michelle to sit there and talk to Jesse, who's done harm, Janet is sitting there and being like, this is a man who continues to do harm, continues to be platformed, and continues to be coddled
and
by the people on that couch.
By everybody.
And I'm now the bitch who can't shut the fuck up. And I do think that the Valley cast is very in the comments. So I would not be surprised if next year everybody's tone changes. Like Shabnam, you and I already started to talk about how Kristen is like doing damage control and all these podcasts being like, oh, I didn't see Danny treat anybody that way, when actually early on in the season she was on Threads defending him. So they're all going to switch it, but it's not authentic. Yeah.
she's saying that, but she's also still protecting him too. Like she can't quite give it up. And that's where I just feel like it's something to do with her own like feelings of her own relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, do these people really genuinely, I mean, I'm sure some of them do care about each other, but like the Danny, Kristen, like that friendship.
I don't think they're really friends either. Like I'm going off of what Brittany said early on. I doubt Kristen ever hangs out with them. I think she just likes the alliance. Because I think Luke really likes Danny.
Yeah, because they're both alphas.
Yes.
Why does everybody have to be friends? Is that just for the sake of the show? Like when Lala and Mia met up at the cafe, I was like, wait, you guys are grown women. Like, don't you have your friends already? Like, if you guys don't like each other, that's okay. You don't have to like hang out. Like, but I guess they do have to hang out because that's how they get paid.
Well, they're coworkers, right? They're coworkers. They don't want to have drama.
Coworkers. I wish they would actually just say it like that. Like, you know what, we are coworkers, because it comes off at the angle like I want to be your friend. It's like, no, you don't. Like, stop.
No, you don't.
Demeaning that word, like friendship. Like,
You
guys don't want to be friends. Like,
and for what it's worth, like I love Jasmine, because Jasmine was like, yeah, Lala, you're only talking to me because you're on the show. You never hung out with me.
Yeah.
And I liked that Lala was like, nope. You're right. We were really close. And then I met Randall. He isolated me. And then I was deep in drinking and I was really not well. And I needed to slowly come back to who I was hanging out with. I think also for Lala to come on another reality TV show. First of all, I was so annoyed when she joined, but I'm glad she did, because she did a really good job this season. But I think for Lala to join a show that is very reminiscent of the stuff that she gave up when she left Vanderpump, like I think that is hard for her, because being part of reality TV likely also added to her drinking and her substance abuse. And so like for her to have to go back in a situation where cameras are going to be on her, it is really hard. So I'll give her props for it. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Huma. This whole like, we're friends, this is a thing you see across the board on every reality TV show. And I'm just kind of like, I really wish more people would be like, so we're coworkers and I just need to tolerate you. Cool. And I think that's kind of how Janet is moving too. Janet's like, I'll show up to film. I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jasmine, I feel really bad for, because I feel like they shut her down all the time.
Yep.
She cannot get a word in edgewise. Tom had to encourage her to speak at the reunion. And I loved that she told Danny and Nia and Luke and Kristen that they make parenthood look completely miserable. And like, why would I ever want to have kids if this is what it looks like?
Yeah. And she's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
she's right. I'm a parent. I've got 2 kids. And by the way, I can't stand that. Like, I have 2 kids. I've also been exhausted. But she's absolutely right. It does not give you an excuse to be an asshole. You can't say I'm a dick. I drank too much. I did this, that, and the other, because I've got 4 kids. I've got 2 kids. Also, you chose to have those children. You chose to have those kids. I also hate it when people are like, oh my God, my kids are driving me crazy, which like, fine, everybody's kids drive them crazy. Or like they like lash out on their kids. And it's like, that child didn't choose to be here. You chose to create them. You are the adult. You have to be the one to figure out how to control your emotions when your kid is losing their shit. You're responsible for that. They are doing life for the first time at 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. You are the adult in the situation. You have to figure out how to get your shit together. So this whole thing that Danny and Nia or even Luke and Kristen have of like, oh, we just lose our shit all the time. We don't know how to control ourselves because we're first time parents. It's like, you chose to do that. Did you not think of it? Well, Luke did.
That's what I'm saying.
I have a hard stop at 2. So I have to go.
That's great. Well, can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Yes. First of all, thank you again for bringing me on. We could have chatted so much more. And I think we should do this more often because there's so many things to discuss here. There's not enough hours of the day to discuss all the things that we could discuss. Guys, you could find me at The Reality Is Pod on Threads and Instagram, and you could hear my podcast everywhere podcasts are heard. If you want to watch video content, that is on patreon.com/The Reality Is Pod. And if you're listening to this on my podcast, guys, go follow Chai After Dark. They're so smart and they're so funny and they're so insightful. And we need to be listening to more brown women, because a lot of these takes that a lot of these people have on these reality TV shows are washed up and boring.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. No, thank you so much. And you guys can find us at Chai After Dark on Instagram and Threads, and follow us on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else you can listen to podcasts.